If we take a look right here on our EtherScope, I've got this connected into a 10 gig interface. So I'm connected up to my network via 10 gig. And we're going to take a look at how we go in and quickly connect up to the network and take a look at what's going on in there. So I'm going to come in here and we are going to share our EtherScope nXG. So this is the home screen of the EtherScope nXG. And the first thing I'm going to do when I come in here to run my discovery is I am going to run an auto test. Now, the neat thing is I can have a number of auto tests defined out there. And these auto tests can support different VLANs. They can support Wi-Fi. They can support wired. In this case, what we see is we've got these little links right there. And we're going to go to that 10 gig interface and we're going to rerun that auto test. So when I tap on start, we'll go ahead. Oh, I was impatient there. We're going to tap on start. So when I do that, what we're going to see is that it is going to go out and run that test. It tells me that the switch I'm connected to is capable of supporting 100, 1, 2.5, 5, and 10 gig, and we've connected at 10. And this is a really key one, especially when we're running with multi-port gig switches. We want to make sure that that cabling that we have supports the highest speed possible. So if I'm using Cat5e on a multi-port gig switch, I may not get 10, but it's going to show me what speeds were available and what speed I connected at. It shows me information about where I connected. So in this case, it's using the LLDP or CDP information that that switch is sending out, and it's telling me that I'm connected to this particular switch on interface gig 8. And this is tremendously useful when I'm out in a wire or in an office somewhere and I want to see where that's connected, because I've spent a good part of my career digging through wiring closets, tugging on cables, trying to figure out where things are connected. And by being able to come in here and quickly see this information really cuts down on the amount of time and the opportunity for errors out there. So we get some good information about where we're connected up. We're going to come back here. It tells us we got our DHCP information. If we drill in there, I'll drag this up a little bit, shows me my offer, it shows me my acknowledgement, so I get an idea of how fast my DHCP server is responding. Also, I can see if I have any additional DHCP offers. So let's say somebody connected in a rogue DHCP server out there. I'm going to be able to see when things like that are going on. I connected my DNS and I got to my default router. Now the key thing here when we're doing discovery is we have now linked our network port up to our network. And we do this through the auto test because the auto test allows us to do things like add VLAN tags. So if we're on a VLAN tag link, we can apply the appropriate VLAN tag, the 802.1q VLAN tag, be able to connect into that network and see exactly what's happening on that particular broadcast domain. So once I get my little green link up here, I know that I'm connected to that network, and I'll come back, and I can do the same thing on my Wi-Fi. So in this case, I've got it set up to connect to my guest network, and it runs through the same test. Now in this case, I took real advantage of the auto test, and I added in some key resources out there just to make sure I could connect to those. So what this is doing is this is showing me I'm connected. So I've got my Wi-Fi network port connected. I've got my wired network port connected. I've got my wired management, and I've got my wireless management connected as well. If I look up at the top, I'll see that familiar little Wi-Fi icon up there at the top of the screen on the status bar. So now I've got all 4 interfaces of the EtherScope nXG connected to my network.